So this is our beginning of our trip. We're heading for Rochester, Minnesota to Mayo Clinic after my surgery.
So anyway, how are you doing there, sis?
In Seattle, and they found some issues that I will tell about later.
Yeah, we are heading for Minnesota
on our vlog.
Mayo Clinic, Rochester.
This is the great city of Chicago Airport International. The last time I was here, I was 14 years old with my father. He brought me here to go to Mayo Clinic. And here I am going to Mayo Clinic again. Look at all those jets.
What?
Look at all the jets taxiing. Where are we, Bing?
We are right now at Best Western Hotel in Rochester, Minnesota.
And this is a very unique hotel, isn't it, Bing?
Yes, very unique. And look at that park-like swimming pool and water slide.
A water slide. And this place is very famous for kids coming here.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Bing, we're here at the hotel, and I'm asking where we have places to eat, shop, that kind of thing. And she, wait a minute, hold on.
One thread, a needle, and
I don't know that there's a Walmart here. What I'm telling you is
there should be.
So what I said was, I said, we need, you know, I think we're out in the country, aren't we? She goes, no, there's a mall right behind us. I said, oh. And any restaurants? She said, yeah, a couple of restaurants nearby, and the food court in the mall. And she said, there's a TJ Maxx right behind us. What's the name of the restaurant that's right next to this place, Bing?
I can wait for it.
Wildwoods. And then we have, you have a nail polishing place?
Huh?
You have a nail?
Yeah, somewhere. But no, this is next to.
How long it is for the other one?
Next to TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx, but it's all within walking distance, right? TJ Maxx, a gas station, and natural foods grocery store. What else? Oh, a buffet. Chinese buffet.
Oh, buffet is there.
And a mall within walking distance, actually. A complete mall.
Walking distance.
And the bus for Mayo was how long? Every hour takes about 20 minutes to get to Mayo Clinic, right? The main thing is, if you want a room for quiet, you don't want to be facing the pool, right?
Yeah.
So, this is the place, Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. My father brought me here when I was just 14 years old and changed my life in just 1 week's time. So if you ever have something serious in your life, I highly recommend Mayo Clinic, especially in Rochester.
Yeah.
Look at those chandeliers.
Chandelier.
They're incredible. Wow. Bing, first thing I noticed when I came here in 1971 was all those wheelchairs everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And it was such a shock to see wheelchairs after wheelchair after wheelchair. Hundreds of them. And this is the entry.
There is a lot.
A lot. I know it. Where are we, Bing?
We are at the Garden Cafe part of Mayo Clinic, Rochester.
Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. And we just arrived, and we had our first test, blood test.
Yes.
And this is the Garden Cafe. And as we go through this, we'll give you a little bit of a tour. of the hospital as we go along. In Rochester, Minnesota,
Later on.
it is a major facility. It's huge. It's first Mayo Clinic ever, and every president since since Abraham Lincoln has been here, serviced by the Mayo brothers. Abraham Lincoln was serviced by the brothers out in the field.
This is the main.
This is the main clinic, and then you have the two others, one in Florida, one in Arizona, that are both respectively #1 in their states.
Florida would be nice to visit as well.
It would. This is #1 in the nation, and probably the best hospital in the world, or one of the very best. And we're here for some medical issues that I need to address, and I want to make sure that I have it under control. And so that's what we're here for. When my father brought me here when I was 14 years old, I had 3 major issues at the time. And the first one was hyperglycemia. I was diagnosed with hyperglycemia at the age of 12. For 2 years I was treated for it with a strict diet, hormone shots, and other measures. When I came to Mayo Clinic, they took me in and they tested me for about a week, and they said, you don't have hyperglycemia, you never did have hyperglycemia, you can get off off the diet, and you're free to eat what you want. What you had initially was an ulcer.
What?
An ulcer.
What is that?
You had an ulcer initially, I did.
Ulcer.
And they said that.
We're on the same boat, huh?
And they said that the diet healed the ulcer, but there was no need to stay on the diet. Second thing they looked at was allergies, which was very severe, almost asthmatic, really. And at the time, they were way ahead of their times at the time, Mayo was, and they gave me injections. They had me go out and sample everything I was allergic to that they had determined I was allergic to, like sage, parakeet feathers, house dust, and I sent those to the Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic sent them to Seattle in a lab where they reproduced those particular allergens, put them in tubes and vials, and for 2 years I gave myself injections in the leg twice a week, and I became immune to those allergens. That was way ahead of its time in 1971. Today it's standard procedure, but that was way ahead of its time. The last thing, and most significant, really, was that I had severe acne for 2 years, all over my face and back. I'd taken tetracycline, came to Mayo Clinic. He said, we're the only hospital in the world that's been given permission to use the active ingredient that you see in Clearasil and all these others in full dose. And there's nothing dangerous about it, but within a week you will no longer have acne. I said, are you telling me, I was just a kid, I was 14, but I said, are you telling me there's a cure for acne? He said, there has been for years. I said, they could cure most of the world of acne. He said, yes, and he said the pharmaceutical companies just allow a tiny percentage to be put into these liquids and help you temporarily. But we're going to send you the full dose. It came in a bottle, liquid form. I put it on my back and my face for 3 days, and the acne was completely gone, and I never saw it again, and I have no scars whatsoever. So that's why I say, if it's serious, it's Mayo. And recently I was diagnosed with a prostate cancer, and which is why I'm here, really. That's the main reason. And I also want their opinion. It's a low-level Gleason 6, they call it, cancer, but because of my previous experiences, I don't trust. I come to Mayo to make sure that this is not going to be an issue. And then, of course, I need knee replacements, and I want to make sure that we do it right and get their opinion. So I'm here for medical opinions, is what I'm here for. And that's it. And we'll give you a tour of the hospital as we go along. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So this is the first place I entered with my dad when I was 14 years old. Someone was playing the piano over there. And the week that changed my life. And this was the beginning. Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. Quite a place. Marble walls. Marble floors. And all the works of art you'll see are donated. Andy Warhol, all these famous artists. Dishes from Ronald Reagan. And Dalai Lama has gifts that he's donated here. Just because of the incredible work they do to help people throughout the world. And by the way, if you ever come here, you just need your medical insurance. It's not more expensive than everywhere else. That was one of their missions, was to allow affordable medicine to anyone who might need it. So this is where I entered in 1971. That was the Mayo building. They've since added the Gonda building, is what they're telling me. But that was the Mayo building.
What building is this? Gando? In the building?
And I remember this very well, especially that old building there. This is the Gonda building here. Considered the Gonda building.
There's no piano. I'm going to make a...
There are many recompenses in a 70th birthday. I look through a half-open door into the future, full of interest, intriguing beyond my power to describe. The glory of medicine is that it is constantly moving forward, that there is always more to learn. The ills of today do not cloud the horizon of tomorrow, but act as a spur to greater effort. The great contribution we can make is to prepare the oncoming generations to think that they can and will think for themselves. When we were boys, our mother used to say to Charlie and me, "Don't think too much about the duties other people owe you, but rather what your duty is to them." Our father believed that the important thing in life is not to accomplish for oneself alone, but for each to carry his share of collective responsibility. The primary object of the clinic should be service to humanity in its broadest sense. The fund that we had built up had come from the sick, and we believed that it ought to return to the sick in the form of advanced medical education, which would develop better trained physicians, and research to reduce the amount of sickness. It seemed to my brother and myself that the crowning endeavor of a life in medicine would be to aid in the development of medical education and research. To realize that one has devoted himself to the most holy of callings, that without thought of reward, he has alleviated the suffering of the sick, and added to the length and usefulness of human life, is a source of satisfaction money cannot buy.
Amen.
At the close of a man's life, to estimate his worth, it is wise to know not only the part he played as an individual, but also as a component part of great events to which he contributed in the betterment of mankind. I look through a half-opened door.
Well, you know, since this has happened, why people have been telling us, you're getting hit every day. And I say, well, gee whiz, I don't feel anything. Well, you said, so far you've got 7,400,000 hits. And we don't understand the hits but apparently, if you want to watch, if you look at the TV, you can see this thing, and then they know you're seeing it. So that happens every day for people.
Early cardiac machine, bypass, 1950s heart bypass, presented to international surgical meetings throughout the United States.
This machine for heart
For heart bypass, the 1950s, the mid-1950s. They also created the...
We have to press this.
Oh, so that way they could pump blood to the body while the heart was stopped.
What's the blue one?
Oxygen.
Red is the blood, yeah.
This was the first girl, 1950s, 1955, 5-year-old girl received the second person in the world to survive surgery with the heart bypass machine. Here's the machine. The first FDA-approved total hip arthroplasty performed in March 1969 was the first entry into Mayo Clinic's total joint database above. 15-year follow-up showing virtually no change in this total hip replacement. Family tree of the Mayo brothers, starting with their mother. Family members and their personal belongings of their house. The pioneer women of the Mayo
family
Clinic.
reading chair.
Their hats, their reading chair, a microscope, their first book, or one of their first books probably, Who's Who in American Medicine. Teacup.
Teacher.
Fascinating. Dr. and Mrs. Mayo mortgaged their home to buy a microscope that he could provide the best care for his patients. Philanthropy means the love of humanity. People from all walks of life support the mission of Mayo Clinic. This is the Melvin Henderson, MD, student of Sir Robert James Jones, MD, Liverpool, above, founded the Mayo Clinic Department of Orthopedics in 1910. 100 years of service.
By wheelchair.
Huh?
How do we go to the hotel?
This is like a beautiful, nice hotel, isn't it, Bing?
Which one? Where?
This entry.
Right. Yeah.
Like a beautiful hotel.
Right.
Star Ocean Buffet in, where are we here?
And we are in
Rochester, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Look at that waterfall. Is that cool or what? As always, the piano is being played, right, Bing?
Mm-hmm.
At the
Beautiful.
Mayo Clinic.
If I were a pianist, I would do the same.
You would?
Volunteer to play piano
Yeah.
in some establishment
Uh-huh.
like this, or
This is what when I first came here, Bing. This is the thing that impressed me the most, was I heard that piano being played, you know.
in Arizona. Yeah.
Well, no, in Rochester, Minnesota, the first time I was here
Oh, the first time
in 1971.
Yeah, me in Arizona.
Beautiful.
Mayo Clinic in Arizona. Oh, that was.
These old buildings are what I remember so well when I first came here to Mayo Clinic with Dad in 1971. On the top of the building, they've got little statuettes.
Mm-hmm.
Little statuettes on top of that building up there.
See.
This is the original Mayo Clinic building. It's called the Plumber Building. And it leads into some of the other buildings here. The more modern, but these are marble walls. That's all we have access to right now, but beautiful place. Marble floors. Really something. This was my first time with Dad, 1971, in the Mayo building, but the exact same design as this. These walls, this wood paneling, as I recall, even the same chairs, the same fabric, the same everything. Unbelievable, Bean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more casual than it was back in '71. Even more casual than it was when I came back in 2005. I arrived here, I visited in 2005. Even more casual than then. In the way that they announced for people. It used to be Mr. Joshua Smith, Mrs. Joshua Smith. That's how they used to be for years. No longer. And not everyone is in a uniform, which is used to be everybody seemed to have a uniform. A blue uniform, I think it was. Beautiful place, isn't it, Bing?
Yes. Yes.
It's been a long day, huh? We're done for the day. Tomorrow we'll come back and look at some other things.
Arizona is more beautiful for me.
More beautiful in Arizona?
Yeah.
Really?
More beautiful.
The Mayo Clinic? Wow.
It's very cozy.
Cozy and warm, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. My father brought me here in 1971, not to the pub, but to the restaurant. Adjacent to Mayo Clinic. Enjoying your lunch? What's all the noise behind us? We're sitting in a construction site. We're sitting at this restaurant, but at the Mayo Clinic. There's a couple of Mayo Clinic personnel. We're having great food in the midst of all the noise and wind. Fun day indeed. Do you know who this artist is, Bing?
No, I don't know.
Andy Warhol.
I don't know.
He's one of the most famous artists of American history.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
So they have an entire exhibit here at Mayo of Andy Warhol. It's incredible. These are limited edition lithographs of what they are, but still.
Monkey.
Still, it's Andy Warhol. I had no idea he did such beautiful artwork. I thought he just did Coke cans. Anyway, there's a lot of history behind Andy Warhol.
I will take picture.
Andy Warhol.
I will tell.
More artifacts here at the Mayo Clinic. Basically every floor is a museum. Incredible. Apparently this is some of the original rooftop that you see on top of the building, of the original Mayo building. They have other things that they show here. Yeah.
And then you know what it is, and you're still going to eat.
Yeah. This stained glass is engraved glass from 1958, donated, called Steuben glass. Steuben glass, donated in 2007. Beautiful stuff. One of the things about Mayo Clinic is you'll see all kinds of historical things, items that have been donated to the clinic, and I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's obviously very old. They don't have a plaque for it, but I'm sure it's not just any piece of art. Obviously very, very old. Fascinating. And Barbara says, at Mayo Clinic there is a perfect match, a wonderful group of men and women who support the ideal that people everywhere should be able to enjoy good health and who have the exceptional know-how to make it happen. Barbara Bush, Board of Trustees. Both George and Barbara, Board of Trustees. Board of Trustees. A letter from George Bush Sr. to the Mayo Clinic, to the physician here. 3504. Dear Bernie, I so appreciate your February 24th letter in which, with great detail, you assess my upcoming parachute jump. I will call you to discuss this in more detail. You have something, a thought,
Jumping
every day, many ways. George Bush. These chandeliers were added to this particular facility in 2001. This blown glass. And the artist is Dale Chihuly. It's a gift in memory of her husband. This blown glass is a gift to Mayo Clinic. Internationally acclaimed Dale Chihuly, one of the foremost glass masters of our time. And this is a donation. They have so many donations from people all over the world. The labyrinth, a prayer wall. Place for meditation and peace. We must not forget that happiness is a state of mind, not necessarily a body, and that life is what each person believes it to be. A sick man needs faith, faith in his physician, but there comes a time when faith in a higher power may be necessary to sustain his morale. Dr. William Mayo, many, many years ago written. Prayer wall, and Bing is making a prayer, aren't you? And yours is quite a prayer, as always. It's wonderful. You know, Bing, what's amazing is I think there were like 7 or 21 floors, something like that, for 3 different elevator sections of Mayo Clinic. All of them just the clinic, not the hospital. Not the hospital. Isn't that amazing? Incredible place. And the hospitals, they have two, I think, St. Mary's and another one, and I can't remember which.
St. John.
Yeah, St. John. Maybe it's, I'm not sure. Where are we, Bing?
Where are we? We are at the, how do you call this? Wildwood Bar and Grill.
Very good. In
My brain is getting there.
in Rochester, Minnesota.
In Rochester, Minnesota.
Bing, did we have a productive trip in Rochester? Productive? Did we have a productive trip in Rochester?
Let's say yes.
Good.
Very much. As far as Roger's health issues are concerned, very productive.
Did you enjoy Mayo Clinic?
Yes, very much.
Great. And you liked the Best
Except
Western?
when we, one by one on the lift, went one by one on the lift.
On the lift?
Standing. The
Oh
lift,
yeah, we went floor by floor,
floor
looking
by level by level.
level by level, 19 floors, looking at all the artwork. One by one.
One by one, then
That was it. Got you kind of dizzy, didn't
I
it?
got dizzy, and then I felt like throwing up because, you know, especially when it was still, we started on the 19th floor, going down, boy.
But we saw some beautiful artwork and we took pictures of it, and you'll see it.